There is significant risk of modern slavery in the hospitality industry. It is a people-driven industry. It supports around 1 in 10 jobs globally, and it is so important that we understand the risks facing our workforce and do all we can to protect workers. The landscape is changing for hospitality businesses. The Unseen Annual Assessment reported in the last quarter that 2025 saw hospitality was the second highest reported industry for modern slavery and labour abuse risk. There is more and more motivation for businesses to act urgently. There's also more pressure from legislation, from key standards across the UK and internationally to tackle this issue and be really transparent about where your risks are and what you as an organisation are doing. We see a high percentage of young workers that might be in their first ever roles, who are less likely to understand their employment rights, less likely to advocate for themselves, less likely to speak up when something is seriously wrong. Recent helpline data also showed a high prevalence of exploitation of migrant workers. Hospitality has a huge skills shortage at the moment, and we see a real reliance on a migrant workforce, including seasonal workers. And as we know from reports, this is a very vulnerable group for modern slavery and exploitation. Protecting these workers is so vital. We can't expect hospitality workers to serve their customers without us also considering how we can serve and protect them. Across hospitality, we have perhaps 3 primary risk categories for modern slavery and worker exploitation. First of all, we have worker risks. Hospitality is built off of often low-paid roles with low barriers for entry, roles where we need to prioritise worker protections. Our second key risk area is our customer base. As a service-centred industry, a customer-facing industry, we need to consider what risks exist for our customers. Where is the risk that our hospitality businesses, particularly hotels or accommodations, might be used to facilitate human trafficking and other forms of modern slavery? And how can we equip our staff to recognise and report concerns when they exist? And finally, our last primary risk category is in supply chains. Hospitality businesses generally rely on a very high-risk supply chain. They source from agriculture, food manufacturing, high-risk products and technology. We need to consider where are our highest risk points in our supply chain and put in proper methods to understand and mitigate these risks. So what's working well for hospitality businesses for tackling modern slavery risk? We're seeing many organisations prioritise ground level risk. What is happening in your restaurants, in your hotels, in your hospitality venues? For example, we need to make sure we have robust training in place so our teams can recognise the indicators of exploitation and labour abuse and report when they have concerns. We need to ensure there are robust escalation routes, clear ways for workers to voice concerns to their direct line manager and onto the organisation, so that us as companies are able to say with confidence that we have routes to understand where our risks are and we are being made aware where modern slavery might be present. If you work in a hospitality organisation and want to understand more about your highest risk points, take a look at our recent hospitality toolkit, giving an overview of where hospitality industry's biggest risks lie, and get in touch with us at Unseen, have a chat. We can help you understand where are your risks and what can we do to support you managing them.